NAMM just ended, and I thought we could talk about some of my favorite announcements from the show. And first up, we have Donner expanding their Seeker series. The DST 600 is a more like traditional looking strat, and the DST 700 is definitely a more modern or like super strat. And Donner makes good stuff. I reviewed one of their hollow bodies for the channel, and I did really enjoy it. And I'm sure these would be no different, especially this one here, this kind of gold. I think it's really cool. Next up, in a similar vein, we have Schecter announcing new models that look similar to another manufacturer's, one that maybe starts with an F. And I don't really love this kind of design with the single pickup up here and the humbucker there, with them both being slanted like that, but they do look cool. Schecter makes really great guitars, and so I am kind of interested to see what people think of these. And next we have Ibanez with a bunch of new signature models for NAMM. We have a new one of their kind of telly type with a kind of quarter-pound pickup in the middle, and a tremolo, which a telly usually does not have. We have a new Ichi model for the shout out to YouTube guitarists out there. We have a new Super Strat here. We have a new Paul Stanley, which is that kind of broken glass design there, which I think looks really cool. I'm not sure how they achieve that exactly, but it does look really great. Paul Stanley from the band Kiss. Legend. Next we have another legend, Steve Vai, with a new finish on a new one of his guitars. They call this Brilliance of Now finish, and it's kind of like one of those dipped finishes that you see people do, but it's definitely a lot more intricate than that, and it definitely looks really, really cool. And then we have a new Joe Satriani. It kind of looks like a blown up balloon. I don't really love the design of this guitar. And then we have another Joe Satriani here. And that's mostly it for Ibanez for NAMM. But moving on, we have a number of pedals. Fishman introduced mini pedals that are specifically for acoustic guitar. They're really nice looking. They do a couple of different things. There's one is a EQ. There is a broken record, so it's kind of a lo-fi, I would imagine, kind of effect. There's an acoustic reverb, which has 3 settings, spring, Holland plate, and then there is a pocket blender, which looks like you could blend 2 different signals together to do a bunch of cool stuff. And these are not super cheap, like 120 bucks and 90 bucks, but they, I'm sure, are great pedals. Next, we have another really interesting development in the pedal world from Electro Harmonics, working with Josh from JHS Pedals to make a new fuzz pedal, the Lizard Queen. Octave distortion, and it looks really rad, and I'm sure a lot of people are really going to be interested in trying this out, like a big muff kind of thing with an octave. Josh and JHS, they make pedals, and they have a YouTube channel, which if you're not familiar with, check them out, because they make really, really great stuff. Not just pedals, but YouTube videos. Shout out to Josh and team. Next, we have something that kind of was announced and leaked before NAMM, which is Walrus Audio has new affordable pedals, their fundamental pedal range, which is kind of something that JHS, again, did. They made a number of affordable pedals that were like 100 bucks. And here they have a similar thing. They're all in the same chassis. They have a 3-slider design on each one, and they look really rad, and I'm sure they sound great because Walrus Audio makes top quality pedals. They make really cool stuff. Finally, in the pedal world, we have 3 new pedals from Universal Audio, which look absolutely stunning. We have the Max, the Galaxy, and the Del Verb, which is a compressor, a tape echo and reverb, and another reverb kind of thing here. And they look fantastic, especially the preamp and compressor here looks really great. It looks like a kind of like an astronaut, and I feel like I'm in space, floating away, writing music with aliens about my life down on Earth. But anyways, Universal Audio with new pedals, and I'm sure they're super great. Their pedals are always super high quality, super beautiful, and they always definitely break the bank, so be careful. Next we have a new interface from IK Multimedia, the AX-IO1, which is a new version of the AX. The AX was an interface that came out a few years ago, and it was kind of an interesting interface that was directed at guitarist musicians, home bedroom producers, and things like that. And it had a kind of big focus on the tone, the Z tone, the Z input setting that you usually find on an interface. And in this one, you have a knob that goes from sharp to bold to kind of shape your tone. And I'm really interested to see how that works. But here it has one input and it's more affordable. So this might end up being a popular product if it does offer unique features and is at an affordable price. So look out for that if you are a guitarist making music. And next, in a similar realm, we have not a piece of hardware or an instrument, but a plugin, a new plugin from Soundtoys, Superplate, which is a plate reverb with a number of different emulations and a bunch of different settings for you to tweak. And Soundtoys makes some of the best plugins in the industry, and I'm sure this will be no different from them. And next, we have something a little different. Ernie Ball announces Slinky flat wound electric guitar strings and flat wound short scale bass strings, which they say are the world's first and only cobalt flat wound strings. So if you're looking for a different type of tone for your guitar or a different type of feel between your fingers, maybe check that out. Next we have in the world of microphones, Beyerdynamic is reimagining its iconic M series. So they have a new look and a new design. And Beyerdynamic is not like the biggest in the microphone game, but they might be trying to change that with this new reimagining of the M series. Next we have pickups. In the world of pickups, we have Bare Knuckle announced the Triptych single coil pickups, which have a cool design, but most importantly were designed with Rabea Masad, who again has a great YouTube channel, which if you don't know about, check it out and subscribe. He's a really cool dude and a great musician. Moving on, we have a couple different things from Ernie Ball. We have Ernie Ball overhauling its Steve Lukather lineup with some new pickups and colors, and these are cool looking. It's not my favorite guitar, but these surely are going to make some people very happy. But next is what's much more interesting to me. Sterling, which is by Music Man, their more affordable guitars, they finally have announced that their St. Vincent Goldie is going to be in their Sterling lineup. For only $829, you can now get this very weirdly shaped gold foil pickup having guitar, the signature guitar for St. Vincent, who if you're not familiar with, definitely look her up. She is one of the more unique musicians today, making really interesting music, and definitely has one of the cooler looking signature guitars that come out in modern times. But speaking of signature guitars from Ernie Ball, we have a new version of the Tosin Abasi's Kaizen guitar. When it was announced, it had only 7 strings for our math rock and metal god people out there, but now, as we all expected, we have a 6-string version of it, and I think new colors, and again, a very unique signature model coming from Ernie Ball, and there's new strings, and there's new colors, and there's new things to be happy about when it comes to Ernie Ball. And then moving on, we have Guild introduces the revamped affordable Surfliner Deluxe, which Guild makes really cool, interesting, different, unique guitars. I'm super thankful for the stuff that Guild is doing in the industry. I really love what they're doing with their guitars. And here they've kind of simplified the Surfliner Deluxe, and I think are offering new colors. So shout out to Guild for just doing really cool stuff. Next we have Strandberg unveiling the Bowden Melora or Meloria, which is a titanium travel guitar. So if you like Strandbergs and you like travel guitars, that might be right up your alley. I really don't like either one of those things, so this doesn't really excite me, but it's pretty cool looking, and you can kind of shove it right in your pocket and go wherever you want, and so shout out to them for that. Next is something that does really excite me, is Eastman announced and debuted the Juliet LA, which is a beautiful guitar with a really cool neck joint, gold foil pickups, a really cool pickguard, a kind of Duesenberg trem here, and just a really beautiful guitar, especially in this blue here. I would love to check this out. Moving on, LTD ESP announcing new guitars in their E and H series. These look really cool, especially that white one. Looks really sick with, I think, one Fishman white pickup and the totally snowed out here. If you want to be all like stealth, totally snow white one here if you want to be Snow White and the Seven Dwarves, or you have this totally camo one here if you want to hide out in the forest and play guitar with no one seeing you or finding you. LTD is always killing it with new designs. I'm not the biggest fan of LTD. I've always thought their inlays are kind of ugly looking because they're asymmetrical and kind of just look like doo-doo to me, but I cannot deny that they make really sick looking guitars. They do cool stuff all the time, like this here where they have these 2 humbucking pickups that look like they were eaten up by a monster or in a fight, and they have the pole pieces in the top and bottom, and they just look super rad. So shout out to them, ESP, for doing cool stuff. And finally, we have Cream Guitars I'd like to talk about, which I think was their first year at NAMM. I believe they're a Spanish guitar maker, and they make just totally cool, awesome looking guitars. They have this kind of explorer looking shaped thing. They have their own unique shape, which looks great. And I mean, just look at these. These are totally fantastic looking instruments. I'm totally in love with these guitars. Like, look at this. Look at that. So yeah, I wanted to shout them out because people were at NAMM and they were kind of oogling over their guitars and the stuff that they brought to the show. And I mean, like, look at this. What's going on there? These are just super cool guitars. And so that was most of the stuff from NAMM from 2023. And it was maybe not the biggest year for NAMM. Some people might say that it was lacking big announcements from big manufacturers, but I think companies are more used to announcing more products throughout the year rather than having a whole bunch of stuff to throw at you at the beginning of the year at NAMM. But maybe it was just kind of an off year for NAMM as well, but I thought there was enough unique, cool stuff to look at, to be excited about. What did you think? Thank you for watching. I do appreciate it. Did you think it was a dud year for NAMM, or were you perfectly happy with the announcements that you saw? But thank you for watching. Like and subscribe if you'd like to. And until next time, play guitar and be awesome. God, these are just so cool. He's so cool. He's so cool.